Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for the support and everything that you are saying, the good stuff and all the good feedback. Um, yeah, today I will focus on talking about how implement the Arduino, how Arduino works a little bit. It's a lot to talk about, so I'm gonna show a little bit of what it is, so you start understanding how the pinball machine is working in Arduino and how it works. Okay, so at this point you should be able to be done with your CAD, and you will be able to count and understand how many switches and how many Opto you have or you will need, and all that, because your CAD is basically for that. And also, depend the game in mind you have, you will have different interaction of switches and ramp switches, optos, or IRS sensors, um, um, diverters, and all that. So that's why I really recommend to do it here, because right here, right away, you can know how many switches you will need and where it's gonna go and all that stuff that you know about it. So yeah, and like for example here, I just put it real quick here so you understand, you know how many switches you're gonna have in your octo and your throw, and including the two octo that is there, and the on the output, like the jam and the first sensor is opto, and then how many balls you want, and you have one switch button for your coil. Okay, and also you have another switch button um for your trigger. And I will talk now about it so you understand, and then so like that you're gonna start understanding how many switches you're gonna have. You're gonna count on it. You will know how many space you have on the Arduinos, and what you're gonna control per Arduino per module. No matter how many Arduino you can have, because basically you control those from Unreal Engine, and I will go by little on that, because this is the special thing about this, and nobody has this out there, and that's this will it will take me a couple videos if this is to not make so long. So I divide kind of a little bit what is the most important right now, so you understand and you start putting that in your mind, and have a plan on it, and start studying a little bit if you don't know about Arduinos. And that's the purpose today. You just know about Arduino, how you're gonna plan the Arduino in your machine, and start going on that process. Okay, so yeah, you got your CAD, you got everything already. So then what you're gonna do is kind of have this sketch in your mind. And now, if you never know about sketch, about how electronic work, I already put in the description tutorials from people that teach you exactly what you're gonna use. It's a lot of people out there that teach Arduinos and teach how work Arduinos, and you can have more information you want, looking for other information. But I just put over there what I think. If you get those understanding and coding a little bit, you will understand how you're going to implement all that in your machine in your Arduino coding. I also have all this already code, and that's what I'm going to give you priority to Patreon, to give you all the information that I have. I'm going to show you a little bit over here, and you can start coding the way that I did it. So it depends on your needs on your machine and all that. Okay, so right now, I put here what the thing that I have on my machine. So let's go by the coil trigger. So we got the coils triggers. What gonna trigger those coils? The 48 power, and obviously this is one Arduino. This is the sketch, basically what every Arduino will have, depending what you're gonna put in the Arduinos, in each Arduinos. Okay, so how you control the switches and how you're gonna connect it, and basically every Arduino is capable to give you 19 total input control per Arduino. So you basically have 17 switches that you can get input, and two analog switches that you cannot change, but you got digital inputs, and also you have analog inputs that it can be converted to an digital. So that I count in all that you can convert in digital, because basically we want to be working on digital. You can also have analog, but those is depend the project as well. I didn't use any analog to my project. I convert everything to digital. If you are a beginner, I will put is a link down there. They say Arduino for beginners, and you start watching those and watching all those that I put there, and you will learn a lot information to understand to do in your project. Okay, so basically I over here, like you see the Arduino have one output to your LED street. So you will have a LED street that you control all your LEDs, the throw, and you will divide those per Arduino. So because let me go back here so you know, over here in this area I got one strip of light that is go around 27 lights. Okay, I put what I'm putting right here is what and how you connect it to Arduino, and then you will divide that per module. So you identify per module and per Arduino, and then you're gonna it's gonna be a communication between each module to Unreal Engine, that it will see what is the Arduino is doing and working back and forward. But let's go. I'm gonna give you a little explanation here about what it is. So controlling the Mosfet, this is a Mosfet here board that basically it get a low input signal, and then with that it relays, it basically relays or switch high voltage input. So right now the way it work, I put in one pin, okay, to the signal part here, okay, and then you got regular voltage 5 volt here input to this low signal section, and then you will connect your 48 volt to your fuse before the coil. This is a way that I implemented because I want to overprotect my coils because they are expensive and you don't want to be burning. Also, I will show you in a way that I protect them with the Arduino as well, and I'm going to show you a little bit about the coding so you kind of understand it. And if you don't understand it, I will go through little by little after, so you get more information about how I code it in the Arduino. But if you don't know Arduinos, go watch those videos. So when you see the video that I'm gonna make about how explain how I code it and why, you get more understanding about it. So right now, the way it works, this pin, it will shoot down, it will shoot high and low. So when I wanna engage the coil, it will say high, and that will engage this connection with ground. So the MOSFET, it will connect ground to the coil and it will engage the coil. And then when it's low, it's just going to turn off the signal, and this is going to disconnect, and that's simple, as simple as that. Okay, so as you see here is a pink wire that I put, that I call it protection reading for coil stick. Okay, that is a system that in every Arduino I engage it to pin 5 to A5, which is the analog number 5, but I convert it to digital. And what it does is, in the coding, that every time that positive is coming out from this pin, from the pin D5, it will engage as a countdown, okay, for 3 seconds. If in 3 seconds that pin is pulling voltage, that means that the coil is engaged for 3 seconds. And obviously it's a lot of time because you just got millisecond input and output when you engage a coil. So every time that you engage a coil, you just engage it for milliseconds, and and that's just your trigger of your coil. Okay, so now the way that this protection work is that it's reading every coil. That's what I put a secondary here sample, so you can put multiple coils or another signal connected to the system right here, and it will not read it back to others because the dial will prevent that when this shut the signal from here and it connect to here, it will just end here. but it will connect the pins. So multiple coils can be triggered at the same time, but as the Arduino not register that power stop for 3 seconds, it will not start calling the function of coil stick. So that means that if some coil or some module gets stuck in positive, the Arduino will say, hey, I got positive on this pin all the time, so let me turn off the 48 volts, so you prevent your system burn. That's the way that I figure out when I burned my first coil in the first time, because I got a malfunction when I was troubleshooting something, and that the Arduino freeze up because I did something wrong, and it gave power for that for more than 5 seconds for a long time, and I started smelling something. I said, what happened here? And that coil started burning. And I said, wait, I need to do some system that protect these situations, and I figured out that with that experience. So yeah, so that's how the coils will work. That any coil. So if you have 12-volt, 24-volt coils that you want to implement your game to do anything, this is the way you're going to do it. Okay, so in all switches it works kind of the same way, but you got your switches, and then you will connect a resistor of 10 kilowatt kilo ohms, sorry. And then that will provide power, a low high power, to the switch all the time and to your Arduino input. And again, it's tutorial down there that I put there is so switches, and it will explain how they work. Okay, so I don't want to make my video so long teaching something that already is being taught. So okay, so you're gonna have your switches inputs, okay, and that's what you every switch is how you're gonna connect it, okay. And then you got your Opto. You got your Opto boards. That this is when any IRS sensors that you has, or any, like, you're gonna have one or two on the throat. You're gonna have in the RAMs. You probably have a lot on the RAMs depending what your game is. And what you're gonna do is simple. Use this microchip, the microboard, and the LEDs. Like if you have two LEDs like this, one and the other, you're just gonna put wires through this positive and negative to your legs, and that's it. And you use just that board, and the way it connect is very simple to Arduino. Okay, right? Like, so this is your controller. So the controller of your Opto, and that's the way you're gonna do. So for per every switch that you have an Opto, you will put one of this. Okay. So I got some capacitor here that basically that's what it's doing. It's preventing variation the voltage when high voltage on the coils on ground. So you have to also connect grounds together, the 48-volt ground with the system of 5 volts, because it's not, it will influence a lot of wave of I mean, I don't know much about it, but I figured it out. And the way that you fix that problem, that wave and that low power pulling for microseconds, that it will make it crazy your Arduino. You just put some capacitor of 100 UF with 35 volt, and it work. It will work. It will fix that. And what I did, I put one on the main power before the Arduino, and one on the 5 power volts with the Arduino, because I don't know why. I mean, I don't know. I am not an expertise on electronic, but probably someone that out there that studied this, it will figure out this better. But if I didn't put any of those, or one of this, it will influence a little bit. So I figured out that putting one here and one there on in the input, and one on the output, like, no, right on the output of the Arduino, it keep the Arduino stable. So that's why I put it there. So you have that, and you don't have to figure out what is going on. And yeah, so basically that's what you, this is the diagram for what you will need to understand to communicate your Arduino, so your component, your physical switches to your game, to your Unreal. And the way I will talk about that after in other videos about how they're both going to talk together. So just stay tuned on that one. So now so give you a little idea how this is code on Arduino. I actually put this here. Okay, so let me show you the code right here. And the most important thing that you have to understand that you cannot put any delay functions or calls on this. You will see is not delay at all in any of my call here. Let me go a little slow so you see it's no delay anywhere. Okay, so that's one of the things that you have to understand, that you will not use delay at all. The only thing that you will use is millisecond to do multiple functions, to protect the coils, to call the protections, and to also call the milliseconds that you want that coil activated. And that's why, for example, on my module, this is the microcontroller, I call it microcontroller number 1, which is the first module. Let me see, right here you will see it got only 24 LEDs on this module. So in my machine I have 7 module of Arduinos, and I divide those by the section they are. So it's around 100 something LEDs in the end, but I control it independent like this. And I will be talking about how I actually control this changing line and all that with Arduino and Unreal and other videos. So yeah, so right now I got my setup of all my switches. I got my one flipper on this module, and that's what I got here. One flipper. You see it's one flipper. So this is my flipper input and output, and you got the pin number of the Arduino that is connected, and then I got what I call it left flipper is active function or pin, which is this is the one that it will control the Mosfet. So you got one for the button and one for the Mosfet that it will activate the coil. So you got 2 pins right there to use just for the flipper. Okay, and then I got the booleans to control when it's on and when it's off, because Arduino is the one in charge to say this flipper is active or this flipper is disactive. Unreal will say activate or deactivate it, and that's why I got this boolean here. Okay, and I will talk about that later. So yeah, so I just want to show you a little bit the main thing about it, and show you that, for example, here you got what is called the turn off and the coil timers. So when if in the description, if you don't know about this tick, the way this is work, is a good people over there that explain this really well. So, but basically, when you call the time of the milliseconds that you want that coil active, and if the coil is active, it will turn off. So basically, you turn on, activate the timer, and this will turn off. So it will work automatically. So when you activate the coil, the timer turn off. Basically, that's the way it works, and it will always waiting for it to get active. Okay. All right. So let me show you the protection system. It's very very basic. So over here, so this is the time of what you can change. I can change any in time. So when the ace 5 over here, like you see over here, is a A5. Let me second. Okay, over here, when this pin receive power, every time that pin receive power, what is happening is basically that it start counting. Okay, it start counting the timer over here. So it basically start counting the time, and if comply with the time, it will trigger the function. It will trigger the function of the coilless stick, because a lot of the pin was active for 3 seconds, and that's what basically works. So over here, it will read that pin all the time, and then if the pin is high, it will start the count, and then you see over here, it basically reset the milliseconds, and it start counting when it get power, and when not get power, it reset it. It basically reset the time. This is a reset here. And then like when the time is start running over here, when and if it's true and the time comply, if true, it will activate the coil. It will send the print, and this is the way the communication work with the Unreal Engine and Arduino. It will send a 0 port print, and this will be read by the engine, and the engine will basically start saying, okay, and say microcontroller 1 is having a call stick. Let me tell it to the other guy, to the other module, to disconnect power. And that's and in my machine, and the module 7 is the one in charge to turn off the 48 volt with a relay. Simple as that. It caught it with a relay. The relay is connected with the power, and is always connected. But when it's triggered, it opens, and then the 48 volt is done. It's gone, and it will give you a message. This module have a call stick. So turn off the pinball machine, and then you can check. You can turn it on back again, see if you got any problems on the system, and that's the way that protection works. So now let me talk about, you got already you know how many switches you need, you know how many modules you need, but now how you keep track of it and how you implement it so that you don't have to kind of type it on in a paper, or say, you know what, just put 1 2 3 here, and you have it more organized. The way that I did is basically I did my spreadsheet, and I encourage you to learn a little bit about spreadsheet, about Excel. It's not that hard. As well, I will be providing this in the package if you wanted the patron, and so you kind of have everything, and you just can change whatever you want. And then so let me talk about the spreadsheet and the way that I did by module. I really recommend it. I mean, you can do the way that, now that you know the way that I did it, you can do the way you want, but I really recommend it to at least have one module, the first and second module to the to the first controllers, okay, the right flipper, because you can do it in cardboard, and you can, before even do the machine, you can start coding your machine and kind of do rules and controlling the widget, controlling all the simple thing that you want in the game, and also seeing how everything work, so you code better your game. Okay, so now, but I'm gonna focus on these sections here, because this section here is where you're gonna put your components, which is where your left flipper, your slingshots, your drain. If you have I call it drain M, because in my Mac, in my machine, I got the word Mac when it go through the lanes pass behind the slingshot. Okay, so, and that's ME, is because I'm doing the, remember, I'm doing the left side module, and in my left side I got one pin for 23 lights, or 24 in this case, because it's zero count. So you got 24 LEDs in one pin, and then I got my shaker motor activated there. I got my coils, my coins, 1 and 2, to the one that you're gonna register the coin. The start button, the select button if you have the middle button, this and then the start button LED, that's for control the LED of the, I basically make the LED running with the Arduino straight, so I just active start blinking or disactive start blinking. So I did it like that, simple. So and I also, for the power switch, that's the power switch that go in the door, coin door, when you open it, it register. So I got one pin for that, and also for the top and left called flipper. This is the way that I control the top flipper. I don't have a secondary switch that most pinball machine does. They have one for one flip, one button. You got a kind of a multi switch, in one push. It pressed both switches, and I didn't have that here. I don't want to complicate more the cleanness and all that. And Arduino is very responsive in the way that one Arduino can tell the second Arduino, hey, it's pressing this button. It is so quick that you barely differentiate the that you it's almost actual. Like if I put a slow motion camera, you probably see like nothing. It's almost perfect. Um, and the way that I did it, it was like that. I send a signal, and that's why from the pin 4, I send when this pin is when this coil flipper button is pressed, it will also as well activate that, send a signal to that our second module, or this is the first module because or the third module is going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and so it basically send that signal. And also, like I say, the protection is right there. All my Arduinos have the protection on A5. Okay, so yeah, um, you start writing like where you're gonna put that activation for the coil, what pin you're gonna use, and you kind of lay it out here. And then over here you will see the way that you will communicate back to your Unreal. So that's why I put string. The string that's the world that it will say Arduino to Unreal Engine, and that's the way. That's basically the key. When you press the button, this is what it's gonna say to the Unreal Engine. So when you and I will go deep to it in other videos. So when you press the button, it say this to Unreal register that and say, okay, what I do now, what you want me to do now, and that's what basically the way it works. Okay, and yeah, and so for every call is right here, left slingshot. When the slingshot activate, it will send left slingshot, left sling, and like that. So yeah, and on here on the bottom, I'm gonna go a little bit about it right now. It's basically where each LED. So you got 24 LED in this one, and what LED is where go. So this is go to spotlight, this go to right leg of my mag, and so on, so on, so on, everywhere. So basically, this is my diagram to my machine, and I really recommend I showing you this so you basically get the idea and say, oh yeah, it's so simple like that, and it will be more simple because you just put your your components, your pins where to go, and then I basically didn't even do a diagram, a real diagram, the way that the one that I show you. I did that one for show you guy on the video, but I didn't have a diagram. I just have pins where I go, and from this pin it go to this Arduino and control this module, and that's it. That's all it go. That's why you see in the video, and the back is everything right there connected to each module. So and yeah, and I also say here where what this light will be. It will be green, yellow, or orange, red, and white. And what I want all this on this light, and that's I will go a little bit how Unreal Engine control those light with the Arduino, and show you more about that. Okay. Well, this is it for this video. It's a little longer, but it's a lot of stuff that I had to mention and talk. Hope that you like it. And yeah, I will continue showing you more details about. If you have any question, if you didn't understand quite what this is go to, let me know in the comment what you think about it, so I can explain better, or something that you actually didn't understand or need more details about it. But yeah, just check it out those description over there. And if you like it, thank you for your support. And if you don't like it, you know what to do also. So thank you to watch, and I see you later.